Hey, all of you out there in Eorzea, welcome to She Heals, I Tank, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. Today is Friday, November 8th, and this is episode 193 of the Shit Podcast. I'm your host, Vegan Pete, and always by my side, the wonderful, the lovely, the straight-haired.
Hey guys, Avi Ale here. How you doing?
I'm good, Avi.
I don't know why you talk about my hair every time.
Because it's distracting. When there's been so many years of curly hair.
It's not,
and all of a sudden it's straight.
Most people are just listening. They can't see it.
Well, they need to know how distracting it can be.
Pete does not like change, y'all.
I like spare change.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for joining me, Avi, as you always do. And thank you to all our amazing listeners out there via the podcast, watching on YouTube, or joining us here live at twitch.tv/SheHealsITank. We do this live every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We'd love it if you join us here on Twitch. And speaking of Twitch, we have some awesome subs to shout out this week, Avi.
Awesome.
We have Whimsical Angel 394, Ginzy Othi, and Panty Pirate for first-time subs. Monica T. Sarn, 2 months. Nomad NP, 3 months. Carter Pants, 3 months. Shepetu, 3 months. Shepetu,
Sheep.
3 months. Wabberjacks, 3 months. Chance M5, 4 months. Voxna 6 months. Heavy Martillery, 6 months. Ace Kaneki Overlord, 10 months. And Mog Moxie, 10 months. Thank you all for subbing and supporting the show. Don't forget, if you have subbed through Amazon Prime, you need to renew that each month. And whether you use it on us or someone else, just make sure it doesn't go to waste. Don't let Jeff Bezos keep all that money. Support some streamer out there, and we are so honored if you choose to use it on us. So, Avi, we're on week 2 of patch 5.1, the first patch of the Shadowbringers expansion. We won't be talking about the MSQ again this week. Why is that, Avi?
Because we'll be talking about it next week.
Because we haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Because Pete's like, Avi, do the MSQ this week so we can talk about it next week. And I'm like, okay, I will find the time.
We might, however, talk a little bit about some of the side quest stories, like the Pixie Beast Tribe quests, maybe a little bit on the new custom deliveries, but we will give some warning before we talk about any of those quests, so there won't be any MSQ spoilers on this episode. We have some great stuff to talk about this week, but we'll kick it off with everyone's favorite segment,
Greenleaf Minute.
It's the Greenleaf Minute. And last week we talked about the new mounts you could get in patch 5.1. So now I think we'll talk about the new minions and how to get them.
So there are actually 4 that are brought back by your retainers. The first is Bacon Bits. It's the Porksy minion that can be brought back from the level 80 Woodland Exploration XXV and Quick Venture by Botanist. The blurb on it says, "Tastes like bacon if bacon and clay taste the same to you."
And you probably don't get that reference yet, but that actually is a reference to the MSQ.
Oh.
So I think that's not a spoiler. I think you might recognize that when you get to a certain point.
The next is Mystic Weapon. Looks to be a monster creature thing with a sword, and it's brought back from the level 80 Field Exploration XXV and Quick Venture, Disciple of the War or Disciple of Magic. Any comments? I was like, you felt like you wanted to comment on them.
I was worried about your volume again. I don't know. No,
I can unplug and replug if it.
No, you're
usually
sounding
helps.
good now.
Okay.
What do you leave off on?
Mystic Weapon.
No, I have nothing to say about the Mystic Weapon.
All right.
Wind Up Hobgoblin is pretty self-explanatory to what it is, and you get it from the level 80 Highlander Exploration 25 and Quick Venture Minor. The blurb says, crafted in the likeness of your mother. Or so certain dwarves would say. They got a yo mama joke in there.
I love it. Domakin is the new fish minion, and it predictably, logically, is brought back by the level 80 Waterside Exploration XXV and Quick Venture by your Fisher.
And the Domakin is like the little cute, almost goldfish looking one.
So if you've done the 24-man raid, then you know that there is also a minion at the end there. But You may not have noticed that there are actually 2 different minions you can get. Both of them are pods from Nier Automata, Pod 054 and Pod 316. You just have to get lucky on your rolls for these guys.
And apparently I've heard that I think it's the 316 does not drop as often as the Pod 054.
So like, even if you're not paying attention, just try to roll on the minion. If it tells you no, you're like, okay, that's the one I have. Like,
exactly.
Easy way to do it. The new Meerkat minion is brought back from your FC submarine after sending it to the Cold Toe Isle sector. Of course, if you don't have a free company to do this, you have to buy it on the market board. So hopefully the price drops soon.
Oh, we have no idea what the price is.
I'm sure it's a lot.
The new wind-up pixie is purchased from the new Pixie Beast Tribe for 8 fancies after you reach the honored rank with them.
And she's super cute, but I wish she was a pink one. She's your standard green one. And finally, we have Little Leannon, which has a chance of dropping in the new dungeon titled the Grand Cosmos. This thing is a little sprout minion growing out of a seed, and it could be a little seedling of the second boss of the dungeon. If you /pet emote it, it will retreat back into its seed, which is pretty freaking adorable. I actually think I've only run the new dungeon once. Maybe twice.
No, you've definitely run it more than once.
Then twice.
More like 9 times.
No, maybe twice.
Yeah, so I think that's a lot of minions for us to go out and collect. I know you don't like getting the mounts unless you're going to use them, Avi. What about the minions? Do you still like to collect the minions even if you might not necessarily have it out all the time?
I actually treated the minions the same way. And so there was one day where I was just kind of going through the market board and I was buying minions that were affordable that I didn't have just because I didn't have them. But I can tell you I've got probably 6 minions now that still have that little green dot next to them because they're not. Minions need to match my glamour, guys. Like that minion is an extension of my glamour. I'm not a god. I know, well, you guys don't know my real, well, you may know my real name. I'm not really a gotta catch 'em all. I don't collect like that.
Her name is Ash.
Brock. I don't need to collect things like that. I don't need to own everything. I'm not that person. I need to know the things that sorry, Chili just said I knew it. Jesse. It totally broke me. I just like to own things that I like and things that make me happy. So that's how I treat the game too. Like my glamour chest, my minions, my mounts. Like I'm not going to put effort into having something just to have it if it's not something I'll actually use.
I want it just in case.
No, I treat life that way. I treat my house that way. I love purging. I love getting rid of stuff that doesn't make me happy. I'm all Marie Kondo with that shit. Does it bring me joy? If it doesn't bring me joy, that shit gets donated.
Brings me joy, just like seeing it there.
Ian says, like how Pete makes you happy? He does. As much as I give him a hard time.
I'll get purged eventually.
No. He is like my perfect opposite.
I don't know what that means.
Introverted, extroverted, like you challenge me more than I'd like sometimes. No, I love you.
I love you too, Avi. Thank you so much. Was that all of the minions?
That sounded so fake. What the hell was it?
My
You just told me you love me in your radio voice.
I love you so much, Avi.
You said in your radio voice.
Oh, can you feel the love in here tonight, guys?
Hey, Pete, I love you so much.
You said you let the little green dot when it tells you there's a new mount or minion, you just let it stay there. I can't do that. I'm like that with you and cell phone notifications where you have to check them.
I hate them. Email notifications too. Oh my God. My boss has like 2,000 unread emails. I'm like, that hurts my brain. I can't do that.
I'm like, oh, there's a green dot. I need to bring that minion out so that dot goes away.
I even set up a rule because there's something I can't unsubscribe from my work email, that I don't need to read. I set up a rule that marks it as read and then moves it to the delete folder because I can't just have it move it to the delete folder because then in my delete folder it will show it as unread.
All right. Well,
no.
with that amazing story that had so much to do with Final Fantasy XIV, let's get to Avi's favorite segment. It's the tweet of the week.
It might be a bit quiet this week.
It's the tweet of the week,
which I'm not complaining about.
It's the tweet of the week. You hear it now?
I heard it. I was trying to be helpful, but instead I get like more noise vomit.
This one comes from Chuckletopia, who says, shout out to She Heals I Tank for helping me stay motivated to play Final Fantasy XIV. The Discord is great for that through the week. Join if you haven't. Great community. And that's really a shout out to the community, not us, because you all make that Discord so amazing.
So amazing. You guys are awesome. I love the Discord. It, like, when I'm having a really slow day at work or just somebody I need to, like, kind of just talk to break up the day, I got a couple of minutes, it's nice to be able to have that to, like, go and check and chat, and I like it. I enjoy it. It's wonderful.
With that, we're moving on to news and notes from around the realm.
Ooh.
And Square Enix has released the winners of the 2019 edition of the Furniture Design Contest.
And the only reason we even care about this, honestly, is because they've taken some of the winners from this and actually implemented them in game.
That is true, Avi.
Because otherwise, it's like, good for you.
In the past, they haven't implemented any of these ones.
No, that's what I'm saying. In the past, they've done that. And so it's really fun to look through these and kind of see which ones are your favorites or which ones you like, and then kind of hope to see them in game or which ones you think will show up in game. So Pete and I each picked our 4 favorites to go over because I couldn't limit it to 3. They're
yes.
all pretty wonderful.
I'm getting really distracted by like anything I'm doing on your microphone isn't changing it, so I feel like you're coming through my microphone. But people said it sounds
fine.
Okay, so we'll try it out still.
So,
all right, Avi, this is your first pick. It is the rainwater feature.
Yeah, so what this is like a kind of like you see in hotels, perhaps. It's like a rectangular water feature that's probably, let's say, 6 feet across. 6 feet across and about a foot wide, and it just goes into a trough that's the same dimensions below it, and then it's lit from the bottom. And throughout the choices, they show that the dye feature would be that you change the color of the light at the bottom. I think that's really, really cool. I like any housing features that allow you to kind of separate a space without separating a space, because I like kind of the open space feel in this. And especially if you're like me and you own a small house, you may not necessarily want to put up walls to separate spaces because it will make it feel tiny. But by putting up a wall of water, essentially, you kind of get that same feel, but you get the ambiance of the noise. And as Ace Kaneki says, it would look great in a Final Fantasy XIV strip club. So if that's your goal too, you can always do that.
Always need a little bit of water in there.
Ruined my ideas, Case. Ace? I saw KK above Ace and it came out as Case.
So we're going to do all yours first. This is your second one, and this is an outdoor furnishing that you wish you could put inside.
Yeah, this is the Ilmeg Arbor. So I'm trying to make my downstairs look like a fairy wonderland, which I was actually doing before we actually got a Pixie Wonderland. So I wish I could put this in my downstairs area. Sounds kind of dirty.
I'm so making a note to remind myself to go back and clip.
You never do it.
I'm trying to make my downstairs look like a fairy playground.
No. I think that this was really well designed, and this actual particular contributor also designed a dwarven couch sofa that is not my style, but the artist is very, very good at taking the game design and implementing it into other designs. Like this, you see this arbor, and it very much so reads as Ilmeg. It reads as the fairies.
You could definitely see that in Ilmeg.
And they even did the same thing with the which is even more difficult, was to take the glamours, essentially the gear that the dwarves wear, and make it into a couch. And you definitely reads well as that, but it's also definitely a couch.
Then the next one you pick is just kind of like a wall that you can put in there, but it's
the other two I picked are both very
it's a triangle
architectural
wall
features. Yeah, this is essentially kind of like for creating an attic space. So it allows you to create a diagonal, like, kind of rafters in a room, which I honestly think that a lot of the people really into housing would really appreciate, and they're trying to like jimmy rig in. So this is something that would be a fun thing to add nice architectural features to the space. And finally, my last one's also kind of like a combination of the architectural feature and then the water wall. It's literally just like slats that you could use, again, to break up the space without creating walls. I think this would be really cool because you could create like a private little space on one side, but you could see through it. And that's kind of, I like to do that in spaces.
And I think it'd also be cool just to make like a textured wall too. You can just put these long slats against a wall.
But you can already do that. You can do that, but it takes more items. Like you can do that with some of the walls and you hide most of the wall within the wall and you can create texture on the walls. But this allows you to create it in the middle of the room, that same feature.
I'm not concerned with it. I'd rather just put those on the wall.
That's fair. I like to think of, I guess the items I picked, other than probably the Pixie Arbor, were like architectural features that I think people in game would really appreciate and that would be really used well. So I thought that was kind of a fun way to go about it. Hey Treyland, thanks for hanging out.
And now we get to mine, and we're pretty different. You did mostly indoor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely did more outdoor stuff. And I just think this bamboo fountain with some water going from the bottom of the bamboo down like 5 rocks. I just think it looks awesome. And I also don't really have the skill to really decorate my house very well.
So you just do the yard?
But the yard, I can make a halfway decent attempt at it anyways.
Also, I do want to point out, so Trey Lens Gaming just stopped by to say hi. I stopped by his stream earlier today, and I just gave a shout out to him. By the way, you guys, Trey Len is super, super close to making affiliate on Twitch. So if you could go and follow his page, that would be super, super awesome of you guys. He's a really cool gamer. He was playing some really fun first-person Tom Clancy shooters today. I know, sorry to do this in the middle of the podcast, but I'm just super excited for someone to be so close.
That's what we had the community roundup for, Abby.
I don't care. It's happening right now.
And after that, we have, I forget what they call it. I think they called it like chocobo supplies. But
I liked this one. It's like a basket of like...
Yeah, it has gishel greens, it has cracker root, it has Thavnarian onions, and it has a magic broom to clean your stable with.
Yeah.
But I was thinking I would just like to have that like in between my gardens. Like it's like I just picked my gardens and I'm putting everything that I picked
in a bushel?
Into there.
It's like a bushel.
It's like 2 crates.
Which is a bushel.
I don't think that's what a bushel is. And then finally, I have this one, which is like a combination pizza, like outdoor pizza oven, brick pizza oven, then a little prep area, and then a grill on the right side.
We were talking about that, the features we liked. He's like, I like the outdoor pizza oven. I was like, there was an outdoor pizza oven? Like I didn't even remember this one. He was so excited about it.
Pizza is one of my favorite things to make, and if I could have that in game, that'd be damn awesome. So that was one of my favorites.
They'd be like, sure,
that was probably
no vegan cheese for you, vegan
my
Pete.
favorite. And then the one housing item I picked was one called the Company Vault. And I just think it looks way cooler than the FC chest that we have right now.
Yeah. I actually really like that. So it's basically like on the wall. It's like a vault, like you would like turn in the old school movies, like in a bank, and you open and swing it open. Like the vault is so important. There was even one that was like an armoire that was actually like an armoire and not like this little tiny closet where you could actually see, or a little tiny cabinet, like you could see the clothes hanging in it and stuff. So it'd be cool to see like the armoire turned into what we actually call an armoire.
And just so people listening can get an idea of what it is, it's like...
I just said that. I described it.
Okay. Apparently you did mine for me. I don't know why.
Because I liked this one too, actually. I thought this was... I only like the company vault if you can have the option to make this a company chest in your house. Like if it can take the place of the company chest and you can interact with it. Otherwise, I don't like it.
Yeah.
That's why I wouldn't pick this one, because I was like, I have conditions for this being one of my favorites.
Yeah, I don't think they would make it the actual company vault.
Well, they do have things that you have, like you can, what's the thing that plays the music? The orchestrion player thing. I'm sure it's called something else. But you have the big one, and then they made the smaller one, and then they made the Moogle one. So you've got like...
Yeah, but one isn't standard in the FC house. Like the FC chest is in every FC house. That's not a crafted item.
I'm just saying they could...
And I'm just saying they probably won't.
And you do have to put that in your house. It doesn't just show up.
Yeah, it does.
Really?
Pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Pretty sure you buy a house as a FC and you're going to have the FC chest.
It does not. Chili said so, which means
I don't know
Chili knows
about
everything.
That one. I feel like it's in all of them. Like, I feel like we did our first FC and it just automatically had it.
No. If that were the case, it's a housing item. If that were the case, everyone would come with a freaking retainer bell. They don't. You have to put it in there. It's the same sort of thing. You have to put it in. Everything has to be put in. But yeah, people are saying like, oh, Ace said it would be kind of cool if you could put it like a picture on the vault and kind of like a hiding spot. I'm sure people would totally do that. You just wouldn't have the ability to like make the animation.
Right, it's been too long since I owned the FC, so I guess
everything has to be put in. Chad is fully disagreeing with you, Pete. I love you, Bubba, but you wrong.
Okay. I have no problem with being wrong.
And it is crafted even, Chili says.
I do it all the time. And the last piece of news this week is in order to accompany patch 5.11, they will be performing maintenance on November 11th, 2019, obviously, 10 p.m. to November 12th at 2 a.m. So not a very long maintenance this time. Just about 4 hours.
That's a really quick one. But it is kind of at peak
And,
hours
and
for a
we're
lot of
and we're
people.
going to be getting Ishgard, restoration of Ishgard, and the new PvP. Those are the two big things we're getting in patch 5.11.
KK just said, how long you been married? That's how long you been wrong.
That's how long you been wrong, Avi?
No, you. No, so there was, I guess I can, well, we didn't do the tweet of the week. Oh, we did do the tweet of the week. So,
tweet of the week. You want to do it again?
No. I saw him moving his hand. There's a tweet later that I thought he would have picked for the tweet of the week about mom and dad fighting kind of thing. And someone's like, you think Pete would have learned to just like admit that you're wrong? And then we talked about it before we started
We're gonna
streaming.
get to it later. Why are you explaining it now?
Because we were talking before the podcast started, and you were like, I was still right. You were still arguing against it. I was still right. I'm still right. I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. That was what I was trying to make the point of. And thank you for doing
We're
that.
getting to it later. You can say it then. This is the second week in the row you spoiled stuff I've had in the outline.
You didn't rate that in the outline.
All right, Avi. Do you have something for me?
You're annoying sometimes.
Oh. Pot meat kettle.
So this week's lore question is from KK McLeod. And this question is, how did Minfilia get from the tunnels below Ul'dah to Hydaelyn?
That was Flo.
Who cast it?
Y'shtola.
All right, Pete got that one right without even hearing the options.
I know Y'shtola and I know Flo.
You know about Y'shtola's flow?
I think we made a joke about Flo and we called it fart. It was a very good joke.
Sounds like it.
Well, undefeated still. That was kind of anticlimactic. I'm sorry I got your question right so quickly, McLeod.
I know, right? Her fart saves lives, at least.
Her farts are so powerful it blows you into the live stream.
Speaking of which, by the way, we just got Buscemi back from the vet, and our kitty is now farting nonstop, and it's kind of hilarious. I've never heard a cat fart before. I didn't know cats really farted, and I'm sorry, I know it's a stupid thing to say on this podcast, but it's so funny. Pick him up, and he's like starts tooting. I didn't know cats did that.
Apparently they do. All right.
He does not like me talking about anything that is not in the order of the podcast.
Super distracted because they say it sounds good, but my recording software is like, sounds like shit. But
I don't know what to tell you, Pete. Like, how about you just pay attention to us talking to one another?
this is going to be a super rough episode to listen to. Avi, let's get into some discussion.
All right.
Just yesterday, with our friend Hyperpixie, you did a Greenleaf stream where you used New Game Plus for the first time. You went back and revisited Heaven's Ward so you could go through the story with her. And first of all, was unlocking New Game Plus as simple as they made it seem in the patch notes? You just go to an NPC, talk to him, and you can pick whatever you want to do.
Yeah, you head to Vesper Bay, north of the horizon in Western Thanalan, and you talk to someone called Wistful Whitebeard.
Did he have a wistful white beard?
Yeah. He's pretty easy to spot, mostly because I don't think many players who are looking for New Game Plus will actually have any of the Blue Plus quests in that area. So even though I was like, I didn't know where to go necessarily, I was like, I got a Blue Plus quest. It's obviously going to be that dude right there.
Or you can just look for the wistful white beard on the character.
It's not a big beard. Not like...
It's not a Ramu beard?
No, it's like the normal, like kind of slightly stubbly little short beard.
And after you unlock it, you get to the selection screen where you can decide where you want to start from. Can you start from literally anywhere, or do you have to pick between a few places?
You don't get like a selection screen immediately. What it does is Whitebeard actually tells you how to navigate to it. So you have to navigate to the duty section, and there will now be an option underneath there that's titled New Game Plus. Once you click that, it opens actually a very graphical interface, which we don't see a lot in the UI that we use in the game. Like a lot of it's very text based, but this one is like Shadowbringers, Stormblood, Heaven's Word. It's probably the exact opposite order, but then it says part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Except for Shadowbringers, where it's part 1 and 2, and in each of those parts, it's actually like a preview image, and so you just click on the one that you want to start at. And
so if you start at Heaven's Ward, part 1, do you have to start at the very first quest of Heaven's Ward, or can you select anywhere in?
No, it just you start at the beginning of the quest, like the beginning of that portion, and so then. I was kind of bummed. Like I did have to skip through some of the quests, which I wish I would have had more time to actually go through them. But I was trying to catch up to where Pixie was so we could start running the content together. I do have to say, you guys, if you have any friends coming that you want to play Final Fantasy 14 and they're getting through the MSQ, this is the thing we've wanted. This allowed me to play MSQ with my friend. Like, I was able to help her because I could fly and we could do the stuff together. And I mean, you're not getting experience from it. So I wasn't doing it. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could do it on a lower level character that's about the same level and just not get experience from it. That way you're not like super OP in contrast. But I just ended up like switching to a healer and then being like, okay, don't die. Have fun. I really liked it. It was the first time that she and I, because we've been doing the Greenleaf Gaming thing for a while. And if you notice, like, since we got her to 24-mans, we just kind of stopped trying to get her through the MSQ on the stream because it was so hard to play with a friend when they're doing MSQ and you're like, hey, I'm just standing here waiting for you to finish this thing. I love this edition of the game. It made me feel like I could play with a friend who's just getting through stuff, and we could watch the cutscenes at the same time, and because we were essentially in Discord together, we could like discuss them, and I highly recommend doing that with somebody. And if you guys enjoy like hearing this, this is the stream that we're doing Thursdays. And next week we'll be doing ESO, but the week after that we'll be back to Final Fantasy. It was really fun.
And currently it only goes as far back as Heaven's Ward because they are reworking the MSQ of A Realm Reborn, so you can't play this with anyone going through A Realm Reborn at the moment.
No, not yet. I think that's good, though.
If you want to do that, you can start an alt and play through them, and then you can switch to New Game Plus when they get to Heaven's Ward.
Right.
So you can play it on your main character.
Or just wait. I don't know.
At one point, I saw that you were playing through the MSQ on New Game Plus, and you got to an instance, and it gave you the option to lower the difficulty of the battle, of the instance. Did you select one of the lower ones just to test it out?
I did come across this feature when I was doing the instance battles, but because everything was already dying so quickly, and I was one-shotting some of them on my dancer, I just kept it at normal because I didn't want it to be any easier. And KK McLeod is acting like my husband right now, and he did not listen to where I said to unlock New Game. And you go to Vesper Bay, hun, right outside Horizon in Western Thanalan.
And after you were done playing with Hyperpixie, did you have anything to do to like get out of New Game Plus? Like, was it its own, I don't even know how to explain, was it own instance, or was just like you talk to them, everything's the same?
So like Pixie and I were running stuff together, and then I was like, okay, bye, and she's like, she logged off, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go check my retainers before I log off. Everything looked the same, everything looked normal. I went back to the FC house and I clicked on the retainer, and it's like, you can't do that because you're in New Game Plus. And I was like, oh crap. So I just navigated to duty to New Game Plus, and it's super easy. It's just you have the option to suspend your game. It gives you like a warning, and you're like, yes, I want to. Like at first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna fuck this up and I'm gonna like lose everything, but yes, I'm gonna suspend it because I want to check my retainers. And then once I suspended it, I was able to check my retainers, and then I went back and verified it today, so to make sure it was still there. And it essentially looks kind of like a save slot, like in any other game. But
it looks like you should have more than one, but currently we're only allowed one.
So yeah, you have to treat this like the old school like memory cards, you guys. You gotta save up your memory, and you're only allowed one save slot per playthrough. But if I want to start it back up again, I just navigate back to Duty, New Game Plus, and then I click resume, and then I'll be back in New Game Plus. And so you do have to obviously like get out of it to go back to your retainers and then get back in, but it's 3 button clicks. It's real fast.
And so like if Hyperpixie all of a sudden got ahead of you and got to that second part, you could just cancel your New Game Plus and start up at the second part.
I don't know what quest part 2 starts at, so you have to Google that first.
That's what I said, if she got to it.
Yeah, you could
cancel and start at
start a
the
new
next
one.
available
because you're
one.
not getting any experience. It is kind of interesting because like when you're accepting a quest, the quest exception box kind of pops up, and usually there's like a little picture and a little teaser sentence about what's going to happen, and then it says what rewards you're going to get from completing that. And so now like that whole area on the bottom is like blank, and it's just like, bitch, you ain't getting no rewards. Like it's just like very like you're getting nothing. You're just doing this to do this, so have fun.
And I think we were on the same page as that when we discussed this from the patch notes. We both don't think they need to give any XP for this.
No, I'm totally in it for the joy of doing it again. I've never actually, so I don't do alts. I don't have time for alts. I've never played through Heaven's Word a second time. This is like the second time I'm seeing all of this. And so I'm having so much fun, and I'm like seeing certain characters, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Pixie, you are going to love this part of the storyline.
Are you spoiling?
No, I'm just saying like this character right here is probably going to be one of like your top 3. I know it. And it is interesting if you're on Discord with a friend while you're playing it to do your best to not spoil, but then also to be like, you should really like this person because this person is awesome and the community likes them, so you should like them because I want you to like them.
Jesus.
But not doing that. Like it's like how you're feeling, but you're trying not to do that to your friend. It's like when say Pete, you're not this intense with stuff, I guess. So be more like me showing you. I'm showing you my favorite movie. You've never seen The Princess Bride. And I'm like, okay, Beba, I love you.
Just so everyone knows, I've seen The Princess Bride. This is an example. I don't need you to at me.
Like, this is my favorite movie. I want to watch this with you. So let's watch The Princess Bride. And then the entire time the movie's on, I'm not actually watching the movie. I'm watching your reactions. And so it's...
And probably talking, ruining.
Shut up. So, but it's like that kind of a dynamic where I'm watching the cutscenes, but I'm also like waiting to hear how she's going to react, and I'm really hoping she's going to enjoy things and stuff. So it's kind of I don't know, it's different. I like it. That is really enjoyable because of that.
And like I said, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that they didn't add XP for this. This is content you've already done before, and the amount of XP MSQ gives is too much. If they do end up giving XP, if enough people complain about it, I hope they don't give like the original amount of XP. It has to be at a much lower level.
I do have to admit, and this is a little thing, but if it did give experience, even just a tiny bit of experience, I would make a point to play a class closer to her level. But which would probably make the experience better because we'd be leveling together. But because it doesn't, I'm not.
That she'd be out leveling you because she's going to be getting the big XP.
Very likely, but you also have like your Aetherite earring and stuff like that. So
my big thing is I don't want people exclusively leveling in there, which if it gave that much XP, people would. Because I don't
just spam it over and over again.
I don't want it to pull from the player pool for dungeons, fates,
You're right.
deep dungeon.
I actually didn't think about that, and I actually fully agree with that because this would be a soloable way to do this. My only comment was I would have played a lower level character to do that with her, but that's a minuscule thing, like because we're just running around, kind of seeing the world together, watching the cutscenes together because we're on Discord at the same time, and then we just have to break party for instance fights, and it is kind of funny because we're doing the instance fights at the same time. She's a red mage. I'm a dancer. I obviously know how to play my class better than her. No like negativity toward her, but I play the game more.
Shots fired.
So like my mobs are going down faster. So I can, if I want to give any tips to make sure, like without spoilers, be like, hey, remember to pay attention to the A, B, and C. Like I'm trying to just make sure she doesn't die. There was one funny point where I was like trying to not let her know that I killed the mob so fast in an instant fight. I was like, no, yeah, make sure you focus on that one, because then this will happen. She's like, what? That's gonna happen? You already killed him, didn't you? You already did. I was like, no.
Going back to the change in difficulty, you had the option to do like easy or like super easy, right? There was no...
They called it very easy.
There was no make harder option.
No, normal, easy, and very easy. There's no reason to make it harder.
Maybe you wanted to challenge yourself.
I mean, yeah, but the purpose of adding that feature was not to make things more difficult.
I think in general, in other games that have had a new Game Plus type feature, it's so you can go back and just like wreck stuff. Like you're so high level that you can just beat everything.
It would be kind of fun if they added a harder option as well. Uh, chat, I gotta ignore them right now. Simply because, or if they had like minimum eye level as an option. Because I'm going in there with maximum eye level. Like, yeah, I'm getting a level sync, but the eye level is so much that like on my dancer, whenever I just did any dance, whatever mob I had targeted, they got one-shotted.
And I think that's one of the reasons some people like it, because you're just so OP.
Makes you feel good to go and kill things so easily. I mean, I get that. So it's but I just mean, like, if you added it, it would be an option that people didn't have to select, but they had the choice to.
Yeah. So that was one new thing you did this week, Avi. And
that's probably the biggest new thing I did this week.
But you also did something else that was new, something that I can't do because I have all of my crafters and gatherers leveled already.
I'm so glad I waited.
Last week we heard about how much crafting and gathering experience got buffed.
I'm so much smarter than you right now.
I'm way smarter. But now you have firsthand experience. Avi, why don't you let me know just how much it got buffed and how easy it is to level now?
So again, if you guys have listened to me ever talk about crafting, you'll know the only way I really level my crafters is through Grand Company turn-ins. So almost all my crafters except my culinarian were level 70. And so if you turn in a high quality item to a starred, and it's got the star on the Grand Company turn-ins, you get a level and a half.
It's crazy.
A level and a half. Like, I think it's like 10 million experience points or something, maybe more. And then
previously you used to have to do that like a few times per level.
Oh yeah, especially once you got to that point. Like, it was at that level, it was a lot. It was expensive. A level and a half. I was like, what? So now is the time to level your crafters and crafters and gatherers in general, I guess. Through Grand Company turn-ins, and it's going to be way faster. I expect that they'll actually nerf this a bit.
I don't think so. I think they want people to get to Restoration of Ishgard.
I know, but after Restoration of Ishgard is a thing, I feel like this is going to get nerfed again because people will complain or something's going to happen. But I love that by like the whole time you're like, this is such a lazy way to level your crafters, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, boom, Square Enix is like, Avi had it right. Let's just like buff this shit up and make it this is what you do. You don't really want to put the effort into it, but you want to be able to craft things. Turn some shit into your Grand Company. Like, it's amazing.
And in addition to the Grand Company XP has been buffed for leaves as well. I think someone had said they had bought a leave kit before and they only needed like a third of the turn-ins for the leave kit.
Yeah.
So crafting across the board and gathering across the board is a lot easier now.
I don't know that the leveling needed to be difficult to do it. I mean, it's not necessarily, it's just a grind. It's like the way the relic weapon is. It doesn't require skill to level your crafters and gatherers. It just requires a time effort. So for those, it's a way of making it more casual friendly. Because if you want to do crafting and gathering, you can now do it in a much more casual manner. You can level them up and you're able to craft and gather those things. If you want to be serious about it in the game, obviously, then you put the extra effort and the time in. But I thought it was cool.
And in addition to the XP gain now being kind of a joke, it's a lot less intimidating now with the paring down of abilities. You should be able to figure out and remember the abilities now. There's not so many where it's just overwhelming. And so many that just have a little difference. They got rid of those.
It was funny, though, so because I did craft when I did my Namazu Beast Tribe quest. And I actually had like 3 more rounds of turn-ins I had to do to max out that level. And I was like, I completely forgot. And so then I equipped my crafter, whichever. It doesn't matter which one. And I think Pete was here and I was like, Beba, I don't know what to do. Look at my bars. Like, I don't know what. So he actually ended up removing everything from my hot bars and
starting fresh.
And reorganizing them that way. And I was able to put them in a much more cohesive order now.
Probably because you never did it in the first place, and just wherever the game put them on the hotbar, that's where you left them.
Kind of. Some of them I moved, I tried, but this was like, now I understand at least what the abilities to do, and it was, I don't know, it's a lot easier. Like, you can kind of break it up into like 4 separate kind of sections where you're like, this increases progress, this increases quality, this is a buff for that, this increases CP. Like, it was kind of much more clear cut.
Yeah, and there's no cross-class abilities anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had something that was a cross-class ability and it shows it grayed out, you might still have it. It's just a regular part of a skill you get. So you'll take it off and then you'll put it back on from your abilities if they left it in game. They got rid of some of them.
So, by the way, Pete, I want to point out, because this is a buff we didn't actually have in our notes, KK says that he can speak to the Eureka buff. So if you want him to get on the On Deck channel, maybe say it now so he can, if you want to actually talk to the new buffs that have been added to
he
Eureka.
got an elemental level with just 1 30 mob challenge log completion. So that's pretty easy.
Oh, okay, to downplay anything KK wanted to add. I do know that they...
I don't think that meant he wanted to call it.
Okay.
You can if you want, KK, but I don't think that's what you meant. Sticking on crafting, endgame crafting still is currently just macro crafting. The talk of Yoshida saying there's going to be difficult recipes and recipes that are proc-based was either wrong, or those recipes will be coming with Ishgard or even beyond Ishgard restoration. I've seen some endgame crafters complaining that stuff is too easy. I also see people that want cool stuff for endgame rewards, like tools with even better stats than we have now. But that would just make the recipes even easier. So you're like going against what you want. You want stuff harder, and then you want tools that make stuff easier. And it just doesn't mesh together, those ideas.
People just want to complain.
And
right? It's nice to have something to complain about.
yes, I've actually kind of been enjoying reading all the salt on the official forums on basically everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I hold myself back from just doing like a whole episode of forum posts.
Oh, that would be an all you episode. That's not something I enjoy.
And one common thread that I've seen in some of these crafting posts is endgame crafters wanting the equivalent of Savage for crafting. And I just don't think that's possible.
I think it would be cool if they had a way to have certain items or things like you had the ability to make 5-slotted gear like you can get from Eureka or something like that, but it was really, really, really difficult.
See, the only thing they can do to make it...
But people complain so hard.
What you're going to, quote, call difficult is to make something guaranteed there's no way you could make it 100% HQ. And even with procs, you might only get up to 75%
so it'd
HQ.
Have to be a chance.
And then you'd maybe get a high quality, or you might not. But at the same time, that's not difficult. You just have to know what the skills do, and you do the skills correctly, and then maybe you'll get a HQ, maybe you won't.
What if they added...
There's no skill to it.
What if they added, like, this is kind of silly that this is what I'm thinking of, but, like, this is just an idea that I'm...
You spitballing?
Yeah. So I was thinking somehow the golden saucer hit into my head where, you've got to like click it and
that's how
the
crafting
arm.
was or gathering was in 1.0.
Oh yeah. So like, but this is only Savage crafting. So like there's the bar that kind of moves and you've got to stop the arm from moving right at the right point. And that would only be something that happened in Savage crafting. And it could apply to multiple abilities. And so you had to not only have the RNG in your favor, but also the ability to like get that arm going. However, like even if it's a back and forth slider, like however, like that would be something that would be a combination of RNG, which is crafting. Crafting is very RNG plus skill on top of skill.
Well, they have to make it RNG. It's not very RNG right now.
But I'm just saying, like, Icarus, this is the idea of Savage in quotes. Crafting is hilarious.
Yeah, it just really doesn't make that much sense. Savage crafting.
I don't know. I just was trying to think of a way because some people really enjoy crafting.
I actually thought about that same thing, but then I was like, okay, how can we really try to get it to Savage level?
It wouldn't be Savage level.
A couple of times I've made the joke of having a crafting circle. Well, Savage crafting is you need to find 7 other players and make a craft with you.
That's actually kind of cool.
You got to do what you just described, but all 7 of you have to do it at the same time.
That's actually kind of a fun idea. Like, I wouldn't do it. Like, that's not my thing, but I think it'd be not necessarily 7, but even just 4 people. You got to get together and craft, and you have to, like...
Because that is what makes Savage difficult. You and 7 other people have to do all the mechanics correctly. In sync.
Yeah.
If you do your part perfectly, but someone else fucks up, that's going to wipe your craft.
Or Chili says his idea is that every time you press a button, it hurts you. And so you have to finish the craft before it kills you. And HQ increases the amount of damage taken. So if you added that to it.
So you gotta meld Vit onto your crafting gear to give you more HP.
That'd be interesting. I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I mean, if you added a time component, that could make it a little harder.
I find this more interesting than Eureka or Diadem. Like, not that I wouldn't do any of this. I wouldn't play any of this. But, like, I actually think it's kind of a clever idea to, like, group crafted items. Like, there would actually be crafting link shells that would be created. Like, it would actually become an essential part of the game if to do stuff you had to do it with other people. I could see parts of things being sold in order to make this one item, it required 4 pieces, but all 4 pieces had to be made by a different person.
We kind of had that with specialists, and only specialists of a certain discipline could make this item, so you'd have to buy it from them.
Okay.
So it wasn't hard, but you just had to know other crafters.
Kind of tried to do it. They tried, but
people didn't really like having to depend on other people, which is why, we say, oh, this would be fun, this would be cool.
Yeah.
But
I do feel like crafters are kind of like the solo guys.
Ever doing
solo
like a
people. I don't want to put a gender to it, but I do feel like crafters are the people who are like, I just want to go play by myself and like enjoy making this stuff and make a bunch of money off you dumb people who aren't willing to do it. And like that's why Pete's got all his freaking gil, because he just like crafts well.
See, and I think that's what kind of the end game of crafting is. Once you get to the end level, you meld your gear. I don't know if the majority of people are really looking for anything difficult to do. They just want to be able to make their own glamour gear. They want to be able to make their own housing items because, as you always tell me, glamour and decorating your house is the true end game.
I saw someone post, I think it was on Reddit, and they're like, if I want to play the game as Fashion Barbie, that is my choice. Like, I can play the game as Fashion Barbie dress up. I was like, oh, I guess that kind of is where we're at, isn't it?
And there's enough to do at endgame crafting now. You can stay busy if that's what you're into. You can craft all this stuff to decorate your house. So,
but if you have a house.
Yeah.
I don't want to get in that conversation again.
If you're smart like me.
And you don't like
bought a house so you could relocate to one of the new wards and rob a FC of their FC house. Large plot, by the way.
So I have a question. So if you're making savage crafting, what sort of items would be the savagely crafted items?
Well, according to the people asking for this,
okay,
they want the equivalent of like a raiding weapon. Like when you beat Savage, you get one that's 5 eye levels above with better stats. But then the items aren't hard to do anymore once you get that stuff. So It's kind of like a...
That makes sense. I mean, I guess they're trying to find a more like, outside of Savage way to do it, but still in Savage for a different group of people.
And the hilarious thing is, like, I'm using some older gear right now, and I'm trying to like do some macros based off of that gear. And currently with what I'm wearing, I can't make 100% macro unless I use some HQ items to make it.
Okay.
So that's something that these people are complaining about. That with their gear, the high level gear fully melded, that they can use all no quality gear and make high quality products. And they're like, that's too easy. And I'm just like, well, just wear shittier gear. Like if you want it to be hard, if you want to challenge yourself, just wear shittier gear.
Just do minimum eye level, guys.
Yeah, that's like minimum eye level content.
It's minimum eye level crafting.
Just take off your chest piece, okay?
It's so dumb. I mean, I get it, but like, who wants the option to do minimum eye level crafting?
But it's like you're maxing out your character to like the top 1% of anyone.
Yeah.
And then complaining that it's too easy. And it's like, well, what did you expect?
You're the top 1%. Of course, you're going to be good at it. Chili says, what if they did a relic crafting weapon? Relic weapon becomes savage tier by the end of the expansion. And what if they did a crafting weapon that eventually becomes like that?
I do like relic weapons in general when it's done right. I didn't like it in Eureka. Didn't like Eureka.
I actually didn't even do it. I was like, this is not fun.
I did the first one, but after that, no.
Yeah, no.
So I wouldn't have any problem with the relic crafting.
No. Piece. I do think there needs to be more items for end game stuff that requires crafting. No?
As a crafter, I don't mind that, but I know a lot of people that don't craft really hate, like, remember when you needed crafting items for your relic in a Realm Reborn? People hated that, so they got rid of it.
Oh, but it felt, I don't know, it felt like the world mattered then.
Yeah, I 100%.
So chat's saying that Square Enix separates them on purpose.
Yeah. People don't like depending on crafters. Crafters
but
are in their own little world.
I like that. I like when the world, like, you have to interact with the players in your, on your server.
I know. That's why we play an MMO. But
Right.
apparently some people just want to be able to go to a vendor and buy everything they need.
And Chili is saying it's expensive for raiding. I agree with that. I don't have time to raid right now, but it is expensive, especially with the raiding food, because that is something that that's where crafters come in. If you're a culinarian or an alchemist, is that the potions and everything like that. But I do just feel like it would be cool for the relic. I don't know. I like, as much as I bitched about the books for like the original relic, like, I was so freaking proud of myself when I finished that. I mean, I camped those stupid fates for days. But I can still be like, you're such a ploob, you stupid little, you just like got it in like 5 minutes because they made it all easy now, and like you just blah, blah, blah.
So why are you making fun of me for that, but yet you're proud of yourself for Grand Company turn-ins that got buffed?
Oh, I think it's funny. I'm not. That's like not actually like a literal pride thing. That's just, I'm just like, ha ha. It sucks to be you.
Sucks to be you. My relic was easy.
That's fair. But I don't know. I like that, and I also miss
open world, playing with people.
Yeah, I used to went back with that really day when you were farming for not the shards.
Or there's Atma, and then you met people when you
Atma
were
crystals and stuff. Yeah, like. I made friends. I made like in-game friends, and I feel like it's really hard to do that now. And I don't like that it's hard to do that now. You have to like be in a free company and get new people to join, or have another link shell, and then like, because even the hunts, like, yeah, we're doing that together, but it's such like this mass, like go go go,
and
it doesn't feel friendly.
Even in Eureka, you had an instance of there are quite a lot of people in there.
Yeah,
but it was so go go go. There was never any downtime in there. Basically, you were just going from mob to mob.
Yeah,
and you had to kill mobs to make the notorious monster
and like
spawn.
the Atma grind was a grind, and then you would happen like, hey, this dude, I keep seeing you. Hey, blah blah blah, A, B, and C, talk about blah blah blah. Like, I don't know, I liked it.
Bread Hater says, unpopular opinion, I don't think housing wards should have market boards. So I guess that's to encourage people to go to one of the main cities, and you get more people in the main cities.
I have no opinion on that because I don't like it when the market boards get crowded. I don't really care where people go to the market boards.
I can understand it. I don't... Just my convenience. I like being able to go to the market board outside of my house. But and you do meet the occasional person in your ward who goes to the same market board,
but
so
Icarus
that's kind of cool.
Indeed, that is an unpopular opinion. I want one in my house.
And Chili is seconding that.
Canthrax says, I want one on my phone. One step further. I love it. Yeah,
so I think you're on your own on that one, Bread Hater.
Yeah, sorry, hon. I don't need. I guess you can use it on your phone, but it's like very controlled unless you're paying money for it.
You can place one thing a day, I think, on your phone for free.
It's the Kupo nuts,
and then you have to buy Kupo nuts after that.
But
all right, so it looks like KK did have something he wanted to add to this.
Thank you
for that follow, Mog's POV.
Wait, Pete. So if KK did have more to add to Eureka, does that mean Avi was right?
Maybe. We'll see what he has to say.
Yeah. Thank you for following,
the follow.
Hey, KK.
KK McLeod, a moderator extraordinaire. How are you doing tonight, KK?
I'm doing just fine. In fact, I just quick stepped into Eureka to kind of get some numbers for you real quick.
Aw.
Just real fast.
You're very quiet. I do want to let you know. So if you'd like...
He's sounding okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So just to let you know, I stopped Eureka right after the first bit, Animos, because I didn't like the idea of just kind of doing it all over again. It didn't appeal to me to just start all over. So I haven't touched it pretty much at all since. So when they talked about buffing it up, I'd like to get a shiny weapon sometime. So I popped into Eureka a few days ago, and I'm going to share the numbers I got right now. Killing an on-level mob gives about 3,800 elemental experience, and then it just keeps going up.
Did you say like a mob your level? Is that what you said?
Yep, a mob your level, and it's real easy to kill one. It's kind of like just like if you're level 80 killing a level 80 mob.
And it didn't used to be that way.
The expansion.
Like at all.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's very easy to kill it. The was it the chain experience does multiply quite well.
Ooh.
Like I got a chain at 350%, so now it's up to like 4,300 experience. When you reach the 10 caps, like the 10, 20, and the 30, it gives you like a 600% experience buff, and that's like 10K experience.
They made it
And
very
then,
soloable.
So how long would you say it took you to finish off your 30 mob challenge log?
I got that 30 mobs in a full level in about a half an hour of just me solo grinding solo mobs, and I killed the same 4 mandragoras because I had to kill them in the same elemental thing for that challenge. So I just kept killing the same 4 or 5 ones, and they popped up for me, so I didn't have to wait. And it's just me by myself. So if you went in with maybe 2 people, you could really kind of knock some stuff out.
So it's kind of like the new Palace of the Dead almost. Like you get a good group of 4 people and you could just tear through it.
Probably. And
Yeah.
then I have no experience of Pagos, of the, the fates and what to actually do in here. I'm sure other people do. I'm just
Right.
saying I had none.
Yeah, I didn't do it either.
And so I'm just trying to see how much experience you might be able to get. I'm not saying, hey, everyone, Eureka's fun now, but
Yeah,
if
it
you
sounds
are
like
looking for...
it sounds like it's less of a grind. It still doesn't sound like fun to me.
Oh, yeah, it may not be fun, but, we could get on one night and just see if we can...
Something that you're willing to do now that it's not taking as long to get that glamour piece,
That's
basically.
what I was going to say. I'd be willing to do that now because, like, that's the conversation earlier about I don't want to work toward a mount that I wouldn't use. The Omega, not Omega, the swirly.
I know what you're talking about.
Step
That's
to the
from Baldessian Arsenal. That will not be nerfed. You still need to get that
Damn
big
it.
group of people to be able to get that mount.
That mount I would like to have. But that was
And I actually have no
Ozma,
problem
thank
with
you,
that.
Mad Camphor. I appreciate that. Ozma.
I can't even get into the Baldessian Arsenal because I stopped at Pagos.
Right,
And
me
they're
too.
in fact, with the invention of the fellowships and other things like that, you might be able to find some people who are doing more Baldessian runs on your data center to try to, if you want to go for that mount.
If I could actually do a search
minion.
for fellowships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they need work on those.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there is a Baldessian Arsenal Discord. I don't know. I think it might be like a Eureka Discord where they organized it. So you guys, if you eventually do start doing Eureka again and getting to where Baldessian Arsenal is, you can join that and try to find a group.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, because so Icarus is asking if people are having problems with it. No, it just takes a lot of people. Oh, the fellowships. The biggest issue with the fellowships is that you can't actually search for it. So, like, we have a She Heals I Tank fellowship. You can't get in unless we invite you because you can't actually search for a fellowship. Which, honestly,
Unless
like, why would you
search
create
pages
something?
upon pages.
Yeah, you have to, like, manually scroll through them and hope that you find it. You have no way to sort it to, like, alphabetized or anything.
Yeah, I tried finding ours the same day I put it up, and there were already so many that I missed it. Like, I went through all the pages, but, you're reading through quickly, you just miss it.
Yeah, it was a very not great, implemented in the best manner, but
it seems like something that they should be able to add fairly easily. So hopefully they keep on building up on this. Otherwise, it's going to die.
Yes, people won't use it. Thank you for calling in, KK, and for proving me right.
Anything else you would like to add tonight, KK?
Oh no, I just popped in, talked about that. And yeah, you guys have a good rest of the podcast.
You too.
Thank you so much, KK.
Night, evening thing. Bye.
All right, so I think that puts a pin in our crafting and gathering discussion right now.
Wasn't that the end of it?
I think for crafting and gathering, that was pretty good. I didn't expect you to actually have an opinion on savage crafting, but good job, Avi.
I can have an opinion on things when it's actually kind of like a challenge.
It's always weird what I find you have an opinion on, because there's been plenty of times when I've like written something down. I'm like, oh yeah, she's gonna go off on this one, and then you're just like, I don't care.
It's like playing Cards Against Humanity with me. You think you got me, and you're like, oh no.
But then I make a joke about housing, and you go off.
I have very particular opinions. I don't even know what to expect.
So, besides the changes to crafting and gathering in the XP form, we also got some new crafting and gathering content in the form of a new custom deliveries NPC. and that's from Kaishur in Yulemore. And you do have to do most of the MSQ to unlock this content. You unlock it like 1 or 2 MSQ quests before the end of it.
Is Kaishur the one, the Mikote who's in like the strip club?
He's the cat boy.
Is he in the strip club?
Well, he's the one that we found like...
I know, I'm just asking if he's in the strip club.
He's in the beehive.
Then why are characters in the strip club? What brought you there?
Well, it's kind of part of the MSQ. But he's part of Yulemore.
No, I'm asking why my husband wanted us to hang out in a strip club.
Because that's where the new custom deliveries are.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, you have to do most of the MSQ to unlock this. None of the stories for custom deliveries I find are like amazing by any stretch of the imagination, but they are fun little cute stories.
Okay.
So this one is kind of the same so far. You meet up with Kaishur. He's found out what a great crafter you are.
You're amazing at everything, especially at nodding your head.
He wants you to help him with some projects to drive more business to the beehive. 2 of his friends work in the beehive as well that he knew like growing up.
Okay.
And they got accepted to Yulemore, but he didn't, so he's been wanting to rejoin them.
Aw.
And so one of them's a bartender, and the other one is basically an escort.
Yeah, Pete, like, there's a female Mikote. He's like, I really like the shorts that she's wearing. I was like, yeah, Bubba, those are the hempen pantaloons, and the shirt she's wearing is like the hempen top. She's basically here in her underwear.
I was all for it. She's looking good.
He's like, well, I really like it.
She's got the cutest little booty shorts that I've seen.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so I'm not going to get more into the story until we talk about the MSQ next week, because it does tie in loosely to the MSQ. I don't want to accidentally ruin anything.
Yeah, we're not at spoilers yet.
These new custom deliveries are going to be great XP if you are still leveling. So if you unlock this, Avi, you can learn how to do collectibles, and you'll be able to level your crafters even faster than you are doing Grand Company turn-ins.
But that requires like effort. I'm super into this like market board experience points. Like I even play the market boards for it. So like for the gatherers, they'll be like, oh man, this dude's got like a stack of like 67 of this item and I only need 3 of them. I break that shit up and into stacks of 3, and then I charge more than the other people selling them, and I'm like boom, 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 making back my gilla.
Your gilla.
Like my skrilla.
Your skrilla gilla.
So at least I'm not just being dumb about it. I'm also like playing the market, because I'm like, oh, I'm leveling. That means other people are buying these items to level. That means that I would pay more for an item if it was the exact stack amount that I needed, because I don't want to drop 100K on something that I can drop 22K on it. Like it's just easier. And so like I'm just like,
it's the most annoying shit when I'm crafting and I need like one thread and I don't have the materials. I don't want to go gather it. I go to a market board, just stacks of 99.
Yes. And so that's why like you break it up. That's my tip.
Well, if you do decide you want to make your first collectible,
it's not gonna happen.
These custom deliveries are really good. You'll get a lot of XP.
Okay.
Great source of white scripts that you could buy stuff and sell for money, Avi.
So Pete, if you decide you want to log into my character and play,
I'll make an alt before I do that.
I know.
Each turn-in was giving over 100 white scripts. And this new one actually gives less yellow scripts. Thank you for that Twitch Prime sub. Allura for real. Thank you so much.
Allura for real.
This one actually gives less yellow scripts than the older ones, but you get much more white scripts, which are the higher level scripts.
Okay. Just buy me more of the like flower rugs.
Three people appreciated that
I want
knowledge.
Buy me flower rugs, Beb, and give them to me for my house, and then we're good.
No.
Aw.
One of the best things that we mentioned for this back when we were discussing the patch notes was that when you're crafting a collectible now for custom deliveries, since you only use these for custom deliveries, you'll always automatically craft it as a collectible.
Yeah, that was people were really excited about that.
Because you used to always
accidentally forget the button.
My dumbass would always forget on the first craft I would make and just make a worthless HQ craft that
would
I just had to sell back to the vendor. So it's not a big deal, just really freaking annoying.
That's like a quality of life thing.
Yes. So
wait, but did you waste actual like ingredients that you could use for other things?
No, I mean the ingredients are just for that, so you just had to buy more.
So chat is just Ocean Wilds just asked, are there custom deliveries for gatherers?
Yeah, so each custom delivery has crafting, gathering, and fishing. So
I like that fishing is not a gatherer.
it's separate thing. They have a fishing one, they have one that is for botanist and miner, and then they have a crafting one that each crafter, whether you're a blacksmith or a weaver, you all make the same custom delivery crafts.
So I have a kind of off topic but kind of on topic question. So you know how you can do like the level skip for your retainers?
Mm-hmm.
Can you buy one for a class you haven't leveled out max?
I don't think so because you can only have your retainer at the level that you have that job at.
That's what I assumed. I just was like, can you buy them for the gatherers?
Ooh, there's not a crafting job skip,
No,
so
no,
I don't, or there's not a gatherer job skip, so I don't know if they have a retainer job skip as well.
Because nope, chat's saying nope. Because I would love to have like a fishing retainer, but I don't want to fish. So like that would be
Fishing
one.
is so easy.
When you have time.
Just you watch Netflix, right? Put on Netflix, boot up the
I get
game.
to watch Netflix like twice a week.
You can use my PlayStation controller. It'll vibrate. You press the X button and you reel in that fish. That's so easy. Even Avi can do it.
That sounds like you're trying to sell me on something else. All right. Anyway, like even chat's like.
So yeah, I think that's about all I had to say about custom deliveries before we get into the story more next week.
Sorry, Chili just says, and it double vibrates for a bigger fish.
Hell yeah.
All right, so moving on.
Yeah.
24-man raid.
Let's talk about the 24-man
All right,
raid a little bit.
so the biggest complaint by far about 5.1 in general is in regards to the 24-man raid. And of course, we have to talk about it this week because everybody's talking about it.
It's not a real issue.
But it's the fact that you can roll on the 2B coffer as many times as you want.
Thank you for that Twitch Prime sub, Kaizenkin. Thank you.
And that kind of sucks because people are really, I mean, there are 3 coffers drop after each run of the 24-man raid. But like, why would you make that something that you could roll over and over again? Like something like that has always been like a one person.
Okay, so this I did have a question on.
Okay.
And since I'm not really concerned about getting this right away, I didn't really do any research to see.
Okay.
But maybe you know. If you, like for items that you can only win once,
Mm-hmm.
if you destroyed it instead of using it, can you win it again?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Because that was my issue. If like maybe
No,
that's
because you
why.
don't actually own the items. This is like allows people to roll for it again and then put it on their retainers, or just roll for it again and be a dick. Like that's not cool.
And people might say, "Well, why would you be so dumb to destroy something like that?"
It happens.
I think I destroyed my first coin that I got from this raid because I thought it was from a previous raid.
Oh, honey, no. Chili, I do the same thing. Chili's won the card several times and trades it in for the MGP. I actually did it in front of Pete to be like, hey, Beba, our first 24-man raid run, and I got the card. Watch me turn it in for MGP. And he's like, oh, I hate you right now.
She's a troll.
I want my MGP.
I'm nice. I gave you my Palace of the Dead mount drop.
It's not like I can give you my card. Like, you wouldn't have necessarily won that.
You could have popped it.
No.
Could have used it.
Why? I don't collect stuff. We just talked about that. I don't play that, and I don't collect stuff. So I would rather collect pretty things. So MGP buys me pretty things. So yeah, just basically the whole point we're talking about this.
I had another question.
Okay.
If you win the 2B coffer and you put it in your glamour chest, can you glamour?
You can't put the coffer in your
or
glamour chest.
you pop it and you get all the gear. You put that in your glamour chest. Can you glamour all of your retainers from that?
No. You
So
don't
you-
use the glamour chest to glamour your retainers. You actually, for the retainers, you have to glamour the item before you equip it on them. You can't glamour a retainer. You glamour the item and then you equip the glamored item to your retainer.
So if I wanted to make all my retainers look like 2B, I would need to win 4
no,
2B
you
coffers.
could literally use the exact same one on all of them. You would
Oh.
only need 4 if you wanted them to actually be wearing the 2B items. Which is stupid because you want them to have a decent eye level. Chili's saying I thought they changed that. I haven't tried it, and they may have changed it, but like last I checked, that was the way they. She's checking on us. Thank you. Yeah, you literally like if you want it, you only need multiples if that's what you want them to physically be wearing. The same item can be glamored on as many pieces of gear as you want. So you need one. That's why there should not be the ability to get more than one.
What if I have mannequins I want to dress them all up as?
Then yes, you would need it. Yeah.
All right, so they can't make it so you can win just one. What if someone wants to do that?
Fuck them. No.
Damn.
Your mannequin does not matter more than another player.
My mannequin's pretty special.
Your mannequin what you can do, Pete, is
I don't even have a mannequin.
you can like glamour stuff and then move the item into your onto your mannequin if you really want to. That's I know that's harsh, mannequin? Ocean, but I think that's mean. That you're having your mannequin dressed in the 2B gear is more important than the person who wants to put it on their mannequin. And Chili just says, I was right, so you cannot glamour on a retainer. You have to glamour the physical piece of gear and then equip it to your retainer. So that I was right.
She'll always let you know.
This episode's Avi's right.
No, it won't be because I post the episodes.
I know it will never be. So Icarus says, I think it's a weapon in this polarizing raid tier. You know, folks who really don't like the Nier in 14 and they do it to ruin the fun for other folks. That's basically the only reason to do it. And people have actually recorded other people rolling on it and doing that when they're actually wearing the gear.
Yeah, at this point, the way I view it, it's become kind of a meme to do it. A meme to troll it and rolling on the coffers, just collecting them up. And then posting a picture to try to trigger people.
To make people mad. Like, don't be that person.
I really hope that some of these screenshots people are posting are photoshopped and they just have like 2 pages of coffers.
But they seem like they have a bunch of them. Like that's so mean.
Because
that's the equivalent of the freaking mist.
Because
like people buying all the houses up. Like you're just doing it to be a
honestly,
dick.
I don't really care that you won that many. I just can't believe you played that 24-man raid that many freaking times.
Somebody's got time on their hands.
You got no life if you run it that many times.
Yeah.
God damn.
I think it's gonna get fixed. I'm hoping it gets fixed in 5.11.
Yeah, because it's one thing if you're running something over and over and you haven't got that drop yet.
Right.
But if you're just running it that many times just to grief or just doing it for the meme.
I mean, I had friends who'd run it half a dozen times and still hadn't won it. They're still trying to get it, like in the first week. So yeah, if you've already won it, okay, Bread Hater, I like that compromise. If you've won it, you're able to greet it, but you're no longer able to need it. That's an option. You can get it more than once, but you can't need it because you own it. Yeah. That's fine.
And I know a lot of people who really
Chili doesn't even still have it. And he really wants it.
Yeah, I don't have it. A lot of people who really love it.
Don't care. He's trying to get it.
I know, but calm down. You're gonna get it eventually.
That's not the point.
It's gonna happen.
I get to walk around being like, hey, boo, I got it on my first run. Don't I look fabulous?
Yeah, and you guys got to deal with her throwing it in your face.
I look amazing.
It's almost as bad as the people winning 100 of them.
No, it's not even nearly as bad. That's just like RN Jesus loves me. Every once in a while.
So yeah, other than this issue with the 24-man raid, I think in general people have been pretty happy about it. The boss designs are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have seen a few people think that the environment is kind of boring. But
it matches Nier.
Yeah, the environment is very Nier-like.
It's very Nier. Like, I didn't play Nier, but I watched you play Nier. So I do think it'd be... I do wish that the minion... That's just
like an aesthetic that you don't like. I mean,
yeah, it's fine. It's like a glamour you don't like that other people do. I like that there's glamours that people like and other people don't. I actually do think it'd be really cool if the minion was a mount. And you had the mount that you like held onto and you flew around with like, I think that would be really cool.
I think maybe in the later tiers of this raid, then we'll probably get a mount.
That would be cool if that was the mount. That'll probably be something else because it's the minion. Also, yeah, chat saying the music is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was really hard for me because Pete and I, when we were originally playing it, we were dual streaming it and I get his audio. And for some reason, I like couldn't hear it. And I was like, I'm so sad that I can't hear the music right now because everyone's saying how great it is. And I'm like... And then I went the outfit. So that was, I guess, the raid making up for my not getting any of the music on the first run. So I was like, okay. Yeah, but I really enjoyed this raid.
On subsequent playthroughs, I would probably come down on the side that it's maybe a little bit too easy.
I don't know. I sucked pretty bad on Wednesday. I was having an off night. I died a lot.
I mean, yeah. What I do like is that if you don't do the mechanics right, it does have the ability to wipe you, unlike that sniper rifle guy where it could...
It's hard to wipe in this dungeon, or in this raid.
I feel like you can wipe. But remember that last one where you had the sniper rifle and you had to turn around?
Yeah.
I had a run of that where like one of the very early runs,
Right.
where probably at least 70% of the alliance died.
It's almost funny though.
And we recovered from it. It's like if
Yeah.
70% died, so
I
you
thought we
should
had
wipe.
something happen like that though in the near raid. Like we had a bunch of people. Like
Not
everything has
quite
been
that
recoverable.
big. You had like
pretty
5
much.
people right by you, but most of the raid was still up.
All right. Chili says, "Show 'em your butt." That's right. That was when "Show 'em your butt." I loved that. That was fun.
So overall, I'm pretty happy with the 24-man
I
raid.
like
I
it.
don't know about yourself.
I mean, there's one boss that looks kind of like a penis, but
So she loves it.
it's like, come on, guys, how did you not see that this thing coming down with the eyeballs on the tip? That's like, it's kind of phallic. Just saying.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Uh-huh.
So moving on from the 24-man raid, we have some 4-person content. Avi, the Grand Cosmos, the new dungeon.
Mhm.
And we're not going to talk about the story leading up to it. We're just
Nope.
going to talk about the fights themselves a little bit. Normally, I'm pretty bored with dungeons fairly quickly after a couple runs. Usually fun the first couple times and then forgettable after that. But besides the story, which I enjoyed, and we'll be discussing that next week, I am actually enjoying this dungeon, even on my 4th, 5th, and 6th runs of this dungeon.
Like I said, I have only run it twice. Been a busy week with the sick kitty. But I knew I was, as soon as I saw the trailer with the ghosts dancing in the ballroom, like it almost didn't even matter to me because I'm a dork like that. I was like, I love this aesthetic of like the past kind of showing up in the present, and I loved that dynamic. And that's not a spoiler for a story or anything really. Like it's an old castle. But I liked the way they kind of brought everything in. It was a different dynamic, and I really hope that, because this is glamour talking about the dungeon. But so it was like a man and a woman. It was 2 characters dancing, and they were ballroom dancing together. And I think it'd be really cool if they created emotes that allowed us to interact with another player, and it caused the 2 of you to dance together. I think it'd be really cool if they implemented emotes that like they do with the minions. Like some of the minions will dance together. If you could have another player and you could like walk up and you hit the thing, and then boom, the 2 of you are interacting
waltz together
instead of like embracing, like hug your eyeballs. It would be really cool if when they like emoted together, they actually emoted together. And they, I don't know, they show that they can make characters dance together like that. So I'm hoping they're able to make like the interactions feel more fluid. Because like
I wouldn't get my hopes up, because I think that'd be hard. Because
you'd have to, so cool.
You'd have to figure out a way to like make a Rogadin and a Lala look like they're dancing well together, embracing each other.
I so didn't think about the Lalafell. That's when the Rogadin just picks up the Lalafell, and then the Lalafell's feet just start touching the ground, and he dances like it's a little kid. Like, solution, I win. Okay, it can be done. Or they embrace one ankle. Yeah, like it can be done. Like it would make the players so happy if you could have the interactions with one another like actually work like that. It would just be so cool. It would be really cool. Okay, back to the new dungeon, the Grand Cosmos.
Then I want to emote to like deny a dance.
Yeah, you would have to accept it.
Face.
It'd be like a duel. Like, I know we don't have duels like open world, but in other games, like you can choose to accept the emote or you can choose to deny the emote.
I reject your dance request.
And not every emote has to be like that, but like it'd be cool to have some that were.
Yeah, so like I said, like normally I get pretty bored with these dungeons quickly, but I actually have been enjoying this one. I can pull it really quickly. Like none of the pulls in this are way too big. You can basically pull wall to wall without too much problems.
That's what she said.
And I never had to like worry about my cooldowns. Like I used them, but they like lined up where they were up for the next one.
So it's like a tank designed it almost. Like they thought about the timing of like the way the tank.
As long as you don't mind not having the cooldowns for the boss, which you really don't need your cooldowns for the boss.
No, like it's always harder to heal for the big pulls than it is the boss itself.
Yes. And I know I've said it before, we both said it before, use your limit break on a big pack of mobs instead of the boss.
Yeah.
Helps more.
As long as, like black mages, red mages, dancers,
ranged.
like AoE. Yeah.
It's much more helpful for that. For some reason, the bosses of this dungeon have stood out more for me than in the past.
Okay.
And I know
that boss 2's she got that near automata booty.
So boss 2, I think, was
I was
actually
like, she got the cute booty. I'm a straight woman who's like, we were in there. I think I don't know with friends. I was like, she's got a nice butt, and they're like, what? I'm like, look at her booty shorts. Like, and they're like, oh yeah, like that's That's what I noticed.
And then since this is the obvious right episode, I do think I have to say you were right when we were like looking at the picture that we got previous to this patch for this dungeon where we had that mob.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you called it that it was a boss, and I thought it was just going to be like a random mob
Oh yeah.
in the courtyard. So you were correct, ma'am.
I'm
That's
speechless.
the sound of shock.
Pete said I was right, you guys.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a random mob, but no, it is
I
the
said
boss.
that character design is too pretty to not be a boss.
So she was maybe the best designed mob, the coolest looking
she was very
mob.
cool looking. Yeah.
But easily, I think the easiest fight,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
the only unique mechanic to it is picking up a seed and moving it to a safe spot.
Well, I like it because you don't only like moving it to a safe spot's one thing, but you move it and then the wind moves it and can put
For
it into
one
an
of them.
unsafe spot. So
Yeah.
like there's like another layer added to it. But yeah, it is pretty easy.
By no means am I calling it a bad boss. I enjoyed it, but it's the simplest of.
And Icarus in chat says that apparently if you take Alphino and Alice in as a trust, they have hilarious banter dialogue throughout. So if you guys haven't done that, be sure to do that. Let us know. I'd like to know how amazing they are because I think their banter is one of my favorite
So I
things.
didn't do it as a trust, and now I don't know if I have to level to that level now
Oh yeah.
or not.
Forgot about that.
I tried doing that. I ran like the first one.
They did make it easier to level them.
I think even after that, I ran it like 3 times on the
Icarus
first
says
one.
you don't have to.
Okay. And I was like, no, this is still taking
Thank
too
you,
long.
chat.
Too long for something I don't care about.
Right. Well, that's good to know.
So that was the second boss. Oh, the first boss, let's get to that one. Wasn't too hard, but I think it's actually more difficult than the second boss.
What is the first
This
one?
is the one where you have the magic brooms on the side of the thing.
Yeah.
And then they cross. And they were kind of hard to tell exactly where they were on the cross.
I
So you get
remember-
wrapped up in their sweeping.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand. But I was like, but I worked. It
So
was very,
if you
very
get
Disney. This whole dungeon reminded me of a combination of like Fantasia and the Haunted Mansion.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So if you got hit by
Brooms of Doom.
couple of those brooms, you were gonna die. Like they did decent
Yeah.
amount of damage.
They hit pretty hard.
So if you're a DPS and the healers having to heal the tank because they're taking some damage too,
Yeah.
DPS gonna die.
Yeah. It was fun. Oh, and Icarus is with a little bit of Beauty and the Beast. I'll give you that. I loved it. Like that's probably why I liked it. I was like, oh, they got their Disney happening. Makes me happy.
So I think out of all the times I've done it, now this first fight I've actually seen more people die at. In the beginning, like the first couple runs, definitely more people were dying at the last boss.
Okay.
But I think now that people know the mechanics of that last boss,
So then last
it's-
boss is fun. That's like so they like cast fire and you have to let your character catch on fire first and then like douse the flames with an item in the arena.
yeah, so there's items in the
You
arena.
can treat them all like they're the blanket. You don't want to light the blanket on fire. You want to use the blanket to put out the fire.
And that is the blue fire. There's also a red fire
Right.
AoE. And I like this because
Well, that one just like hits you and goes away.
it puts an AoE on the ground.
Right.
What,
But can burn the items in the arena as well.
that's another thing. You need to save those items for the
Yes.
blue fire.
It's really
but
fun.
but also it gave a odd shaped AoE. We had never seen that
yeah,
AoE
like kind of
shape
like
before.
trails around and you can just
So like
stuff.
anytime we see something new like that, I enjoy because when we were moving the seed on that second boss,
Mhm.
that kind of reminded me of the Heaven's Ward dungeon Neverreap, where you had to just move those totems out of that thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
we had kind of seen that before. It's just a little bit
So
different.
Kythrax saying you can stack on the item as he starts the blue fire. I actually had an instance where that didn't work. So I don't know if it's because maybe one of the trails of the orange fire hit it or something. But so I personally, because I had that happen, let the blue fire hit me and then I go to the item just to be safe. Because it did like
Because you were just running around on fire, and it's
I was
not
like, but
you,
I put the thing out. I ran into the thing. Why am I still on fire? So and it looked like it went out with blue fire. I don't know if it was what happened. But,
and you have a timer on your fire.
and Chili says server tick can be a pain.
Yeah, you have a timer on your fire, and once that timer goes off, it's not like you take a tank buster or something. You just die.
You just die. Like you're done. I was like, and I was the healer. We'd have anybody who could res. I was like, sorry guys, start again.
So
But it was fun.
yeah,
I really
I
liked
enjoyed
it.
that third boss. Obviously, once people know those mechanics, it becomes much easier.
But it's nice to know that like you have a fight like that you can wipe on still. Like if the healer dies and you don't have anybody that can res them, you may have to start that fight again. Like there's consequences to your actions.
Yeah, and this was part of the MSQ, so we're going to talk about the story leading up to this dungeon next week. But I really enjoyed the story leading up to it. So
Yeah. Well, of course, it's freaking Shadowbringers, which is amazing.
all right, Avi, something you just not finished, but you like got to the next step.
I got to step 2.
Was the Pixie Beast Tribe. But before we get to that, I just remembered I wanted to ask you. You just finished the Namazu right before you got to the
Literally
Pixies.
today, you guys.
You're like, oh, I can't get my Pixie Beast Tribes until I finish the Namazu ones
And
I
you're
picked
like,
up yesterday.
Just cancel them. I'm like, no, I'm so close.
So what did you think about the Namazu after you finally finished them off? Do you even remember the story since you started so long ago?
I do. I feel like the final quest wasn't as good as all the other quests leading up to it.
Could it be just like it had been so long that...
No, because I liked all the like creepy shots of like the future that might have come that we are like putting off from happening. You see all like the dead Namazus and stuff. And I was like, this is really uncomfortable, but I'm kind of enjoying it because it's like the whole thing about them is they're awkward. And the ending was like, it didn't have any of that awkwardness to it. It was like, yay. The only part I really liked was he's like, I made this bell for you. It's a special bell. And I thought I would just like purchase that.
Yeah.
So that was like the only part about it that I liked was that he like gave me the bell. But other than that, I wanted more awkward, like we saved them from a terrible death. Like I really, I guess I'm twisted. I really enjoyed that about the Namazu. I liked having that awkward dynamic where I'd be watching it and people would come in and I'd be like, what just happened?
And did you have any crafters or gatherers under level 70 when you were doing this?
Originally.
But like after we've gotten the buff?
No.
Okay.
No,
so,
you get
10,000.
So
you're getting shit XP on these now.
It's 10,000 no matter what you're playing.
If you're over 70.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get on to the Pixies, it looks like Icarus joined the On Deck channel, so we'll see what Icarus has to give us tonight. Icarus, what did you want to talk about?
Oh, I was actually going to talk a little bit about some stuff that you guys already covered. I was going to talk about the Nier raid because I know a lot of people say, "Oh yeah," I've heard a lot of positive things about it.
Okay.
And
do you have a differing opinion?
I think it was just like really easy. Like that was my big complaint. Is it's just like really easy for the most part.
I have a
like
suggestion for you, Chris. Play it with a donation wheel. Did you see that stream?
I did catch it after the fact, and I wish I was
difficult.
there to donate.
But anyways, continue. Sorry.
No. That's
just challenge yourself. Put one hand behind your back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I just like, and the other part for me, it's like for me to really get into a lot of these raid content and stuff. Like there has to be a story reason for it, and there really wasn't. Like that's the spoiler for the spoiler part of the story. Is like there's really no story here.
And was it
at least
was it you last week that called up and said this was the first 24-man raid where you hadn't played like the game it was based off of?
Yeah.
So that had no nostalgia for you.
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I even went and like deep dived into like people talking about the game and running through it, so I could try to get some of the. And I'm like, no, there just really wasn't anything for you.
And chat's saying something that I actually didn't play Nier, and this is the vibe that I got, that this is all Easter egging. This is all like kind of I'd rather be slowly introduced to the world and then get some story. Get attached to the characters first. I feel like when you don't know the story and then boom, here's story, you need to automatically care about this character. I don't. I feel like I'm forced to try to care about this character.
I think they are keeping a lot of mystery in it to begin with, so hopefully we get more in the subsequent ones.
I think we will.
I hope so too. Just so that way it's interesting and not just pretty. Not something with a pretty face and nice butt, you know?
Good boobs.
Sometimes that's all you need.
I'm a guy who needs a little more.
I agree with you there, Icarus. Glaring at my
husband.
I mean,
it's nice. It's not always needed.
It's got a brain too. Yeah, I agree. It didn't have a lot of story, but I did really enjoy the dwarves. I thought their dynamic was really fun.
Yeah, I mean that part of it, that was like the most entertaining part of it is the whole like banter with the. I like the things created for the collab more so than what the collab is, if that makes any sense.
I have a question though. So, because I feel like it did make me question things. So what about the part, and I guess this is a little spoilery if you haven't done the 24-man raid, but Pete didn't even notice it. So what about when you have to go back into the zone because of the story, and there's a room, and there's like 22 bees dead on the ground?
Yeah.
Did that make you like
No.
that made me go, what happened? She's freaking powerful. All of these 2Bs should be as powerful as our 2B. Like, I want to know.
Well, it's 2P.
2P. I didn't play the game. So,
Yeah.
but like that piqued my interest for sure.
I mean, it was interesting. It was like, oh, that'll be interesting if they. I guess for me, like, I have like severe like nopeness when it comes to like mystery boxes and mystery things because I
Oh.
freaking hate J.J. Abrams. So
Don't J.J.
So, like-
Abrams this, but like if you just picture
Yeah.
it like you say it was you, and you're going in there,
Yeah.
and then there's 20 of you dead on the ground. Like, why?
yeah,
What?
I mean, it like I said, it definitely was like, okay, this will be interesting. If like if there's more to it. Granted, I was like, oh, there's a bunch of them dead. I mean, to be fair, I didn't have like a what kind of like
Oh, no?
reaction to it.
Just,
It was
oh.
like I was too busy looking for the stupid mystery boxes to get little dialogue. I was like, I need my story. I need answers.
Gotta collect
And
the things.
it's like throwing dead bodies. I'm like, where is it? I know there's another one in here.
Get underneath it. See, Pete didn't even notice they were 2P. And I was like, how?
Sure.
And I'm like in the room when he says this. I'm like, how did you not
I was
notice
just
this?
getting the collectible things.
He was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm more
Because I was like,
so-
I know I'm going to go back and.
I guess I'm more
I mean,
like,
I spent like
open to
8
letting
hours
it-
in there.
Oh, geez, honey. I'm more like open to like letting the story kind of unfurl and question things. And I like to try to figure out the answer before we get it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like twists and turns in a story, but I don't like when a story, because I've seen it done bad so many times
Mhm.
that I'm apprehensive at that storytelling approach.
Okay.
Naturally,
Okay.
like just because it's like when I have to do all the heavy lifting, I build up all these expectations, and when the guy goes like, I didn't know what I was actually doing, or
Yeah,
I didn't know how I
Pete
was
gets
gonna
built
do
up
this, and
like
it's
that
like,
with the game.
yeah, and so I've been burned too many times, like with that. So it's like, this has, has potential to be really interesting, and I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. I'm also just like would be totally okay if it was just a pretty veneer and there's like not a whole lot going on the surface.
He's
Like
hot
if
but
that's all
dumb.
it's gonna be.
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm like that. Yeah, I mean, to put it like Pete
Bluntly?
was saying
Yeah.
earlier, I was like, if it's just a pretty thing that we get collect shinies from, that's cool too.
So Chad
you
is making comments that like it's kind of a big deal because you haven't played a Yoko game. So maybe if you've played one of his games, you'd understand the approach more.
I suppose so. I probably have a little bit more faith in it too.
But I like hearing having you call in and say this because this is. I'm sure you're obviously not the only person feeling this way. And so people will listen to this and be like, hey, I feel that way too. Because Pete's played it and he's just like, cool. You haven't played it and you're like, eh.
I will say I played Nier and I thought it was a little overrated from what I had saw
Okay.
from other people.
Okay.
I mean, it was a good game, but like the themes of it, I was like, it's kind of been done before.
And I haven't played it, but I watched Pete play and I thought it was beautiful and looked really interesting to me. And I'm just kind of like really open to the experience of what's going to happen. I actually like this more than the last raid tier. The last raid tier, I felt like they were trying to make me care about characters that I had no emotion toward. And that actually was off-putting for me.
Yeah, this is like for me, like I didn't care about Ramza, so I didn't care
I
about
didn't
that
like
raid.
him even.
You guys are killing my soul right now, but I understand that now. Like
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like because I'm on the other side with this now. Like I know when I was like, I was holding the banner and waving, like this is the greatest thing they've ever done. Last expansion,
Right.
because it was made for me, a fan.
Yep. Which
And-
most of 14
and-
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the experience I had, and to not have that experience with a piece of content was very, very enlightening. I would say.
That's
like-
completely fair. And I appreciate the approach more because it's like fans are excited about it, and then some like I'm more into this one than I was the last one. Because and the one thing I say is, well, in the very least, if people don't enjoy it, at least they like the glamours.
Yeah.
That was
And that certainly I definitely do.
it brought us
you know?
butt sliders,
Exactly. It's if anything I can thank Yoko Tower for anything in this is he brought some butts to the game.
Brought some butts. Like that's in the very least. I
Yeah.
didn't enjoy the raid. I didn't like the story, whatever. But you know what? I do like the glamour pieces. Like
True
that's
endgame.
that's a thing. So at
Yeah.
least there's some positive to be had from it, regardless of what your
Oh,
opinion is.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm not gonna be like, this game sucks, uninstall. Like, cause like a lot of people were like that with Evilise. It's like
Mhm.
the glamour's so ugly, I'm gonna uninstall. I was like, it wasn't for you, but that's okay. Like, you know,
Yeah,
you can
I'm not an
not
uninstall, but I
not-
didn't use a single piece of glamour from there. I was like, and covered it up. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, you also didn't have a tank for Agrius, so like her armor is like the best in that whole raid series, in my opinion.
fair enough.
All right,
So-
Icarus. Anything else to add other than 24-man raid stuff?
I just wanted to. I think I said most of what I wanted to say in chat about the dungeon. I love the dungeon. The dungeon's like
Yeah.
they're killing it.
Yeah.
They're killing it. I loved
Super
it.
fun.
I think that was my favorite part of the expansions or the patch so far.
Yes, I agree.
Loved it. The banter, like seriously, if you don't like doing things with trust, try it at least once with Alice and Alfino.
Mhm.
Hilarity, just hilarity.
So that means you have to heal your tank, right?
Yeah,
They're
you
both,
have
they're
to,
both DPS.
Well, I think he's a healer.
Yeah, I think
Oh, is he a healer?
Alphino's the healer.
Okay, I still think of
Yeah,
him as a summoner, so sorry.
He's an Astro, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay. What?
Or he's a scholar.
He's
Scholar?
a
The
scholar.
modified
Yeah, he
scholar.
always had a book.
For some reason,
He
I
has a-
remember him like
he has a
holding.
No, that's Yurion J. Yurion
Okay.
J is the Astro.
They're both assholes.
Thank you, Icarus.
Yeah.
I was like, we're like, what?
Both.
Yeah, technically he's
Both-
an academician or something like
He's
that.
like an
they
arcanist,
gave him a
I
essentially.
hate
He's
both
like-
of them, so they kind of just merged into one being that I don't
Yo-
care about.
I think you'll like him in this run because not to spoil anything. There's a moment where Alice is like, "Why are you like this?"
I love their dynamic. The dynamic of her picking on him makes him more likable because it makes him more human. And I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I will say
And
I like him better than Yuri on J this expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree.
Those are big words from Pete. All right. You have a wonderful night, Icarus. Thank you so much
All
for
right, I
calling
want to see
in.
if I can trigger you
All right.
right before you go.
Or day. I don't know
The,
what
the
time it is for you
finale
right
of
now.
Lost was amazing.
What? I'm sorry.
I said the finale of Lost was amazing.
He's trying to trigger you. Did you?
All right, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Good night.
Oh gosh. Anywho, but
I'm
thanks again
sorry.
thanks again for having me on. You guys are amazing, and keep up doing the
Aw.
great work that you're doing.
You are too.
Thank you, Icarus. All right, Avi. Quickly, your first impressions of getting some more fun things in the Pixie Zone.
The first time you turn stuff and you don't get any fun stuff.
Well, you do. You get a slide, which you didn't notice.
I didn't see it. I just saw green grass. And so I was like, fuck you. I saw all these teasers and all this really fun stuff and all I got was green grass and I like ran out. But so tonight I finally had time to go in and I got the second set where I got the second set of stuff where I got all the fun little slides and everything. I was like, oh my God, do we actually get to slide down the slides? And I love it. I love it. It's playful and whimsy and something that we don't get a lot of in this game. And so I appreciated it.
All right. If you could choose your own next housing zone, would you rather have Ishgard or
Pixie Zone, hands down,
Pixie
150 million%. I don't want an Ishgard house.
you don't want the snow?
Nope.
Not a snowbird?
I'm from San Diego, guys. I don't even I have been in snow like twice in my life, seriously, and I don't know how to deal. I am a wimp. I'm all about like the 72 degrees every day of the year. Like, oh my God, it's raining. That's my happy place. So Ishgard is like, cool guys, I'm gonna just hang out in mist at the beach and be good. Bye.
So yeah, I really like that zone too. I agree. I would pick Pixie housing over Ishgard housing.
When I'm getting the cutscenes, I'm like, I gotta get ready with my screenshot button. Like, I just like, don't talk to me, don't distract me, because the colors, I made sure my glamour matches all the bright colors. We good.
And we are running a little long, so I think we're gonna
Oh, yeah.
hold off on the story on the Pixies as well.
Okay.
Till next week.
Let's talk about happiness.
So
And you thought it was gonna be a short episode.
so let's do a community roundup, partner. And I want to say that I got a lot of use. God, I forgot to write down the website. I believe it's called FFXIV Teamcraft. I wish I could.
Quality
type.
reporting right here.
I know, I forgot to write it in because I was using, ffxivteamcraft.com, and I went there to work on my rotations for crafting this week. And they have a crafting simulator you can go to, and
Ooh.
you can type in all of your stats and any food you might be using to boost those stats and whatnot. And then you can use all of the abilities.
So you can like practice without actually destroying stuff.
You can practice, and you can just like work on different things. Like you don't actually like see it destroy or anything like that.
Okay. There's no like
And it's nice if like you really don't know what any of the abilities do. You can just test them out. You're like, what gives me a bigger buff if I use innovation or whatever?
Cool.
And so you can test things out. It's a really cool site. It's really good if you
Sit
just
at work while you're bored. Hope this site isn't blocked, and just practice your crafting.
So I know a lot of people use it for like making lists of stuff to craft. I still personally prefer Garland Tools, which is another great site for crafting, but Garland Tools doesn't have a crafting simulator. So this is amazing for the crafting simulator, and it's great for making lists of stuff you want to craft and knowing all of the items that you need to get for that. So ffxivteamcraft.com.
Cool. So Pete, Kytherect has a question. Marry, fuck, or kill for you. Alphino, Urion J, and Thancred. He loves this, by the way. They're like his favorite.
Oh God. It's like the 3 people that I hated the most this expansion.
Yep. And they're all the Shadowbringers versions of themselves. You don't get to like go back.
I feel like I would. God damn. I'll fuck Alphino, and then he can just fuck off somewhere.
You wouldn't kill him.
No, I'm killing Urion J because I never want to hear his fucking dumb accent again.
Must needs.
And I will marry Thancred because I feel like Thancred probably knows sports. We can bond off of sports.
Thancred's such a fuckboy, though. I'm just saying.
Two of a kind.
I feel like, I mean, as annoying as Urion J is, I feel like he would try really hard. So he'd probably be like a good husband. Like, I feel like he would like bring home the bacon.
See, I feel like me and him could just like talk about Blitzball all day.
Would you though?
Sure. I mean, we're married.
Yeah, like Urion J would support you no matter what you did. You'd be like, okay, honey, I get that you must needs, but can you please just talk to me in a normal accent right now? Just please use your normal words. But Pete likes a fuckboy.
No, he's an asshole.
All right, so Ace would marry Thancred, kill Alfie, and screw Urion J. Icarus agrees. Urion J's a book nerd. He's down with that. Yeah, I like, as much as I wouldn't want Alphino or Thancred in my life forever. Like, Thancred's a hottie. I'll give him that, but I feel like he's just dumb. And I like couldn't deal with that for the rest of my life. So Urion J was like, he's like hot under his robes and he's smart. The only annoying thing about him is he like
his
lies.
Personality.
He lies and how he talks. So you'd be like, Beba, just stop talking. Shh.
You can do that with Thancred too.
That's true.
All right, a little bit of listener reaction this week, Avi.
Mm-hmm.
So what you spoiled earlier, why don't you go ahead and read that?
How dare I spoil a tweet?
Go ahead.
From Silent Trakasan says, PSA, do you feel overwhelming nostalgia when thinking about your parents fighting while you sat on top of the stairs? If yes, this episode for you. Pete hasn't learned yet that he should shut up and say, you're right. I'm sorry.
I do. Didn't you just hear me say I'm right when you had that
I'm
part
actually
right?
thanking Matthew Stutz, which is the like for this, because I think the reason you said that is because of this tweet.
No.
Yeah, I think so.
I always say when you're right.
But you don't say that you're sorry.
No, because I don't battle you when you're right. If I battle you, you're wrong.
Nope.
Okay?
Nope. As KK said, how long have we been married? You've been wrong since then.
Feels like 20 years. Ace Kaneki says, in honor of Pete doing his first play of Final Fantasy IX, thought I'd dress as Zidane for a while, and he looked amazing as a Rothgar.
It was huge. It was glorious.
Zidane. Thank you so much, Ace, and thank you for hanging out with me during my Final Fantasy IX streams.
On Sunday mornings. And finally, at Learn597 says, lots of great content creation happening tonight. My friend Hyperpixie Games is going to be guest starring on At Tales of Tamriel tonight. And my friends at She Heals I Tank are doing a live recording of their podcast. At Green-Eyed Music Lover, got their Green-Eyed Music Lover, and her band are making awesome lore content and more.
Amazing
Sorry, there was
stuff.
a lot of like vowels missing in that name, so I was trying.
Amazing stuff all around.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're coming to the end of the episode, Avi. Why don't
think
you
so.
take us out?
So on that note, that is going to be it for this episode. As always, we've enjoyed hanging out with all of you live here on Twitch. So thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be sure to hit that follow button so you'll know the next time we will be going live. And I want to say a great big thank you to everyone listening to the podcast through iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify, your phone, your IoT device, your refrigerators, your everything that you can stream shit on now. I don't know.
You really watch us on a refrigerator.
You can do so much
Take
with
a
them
picture
now.
of that. I want to see it.
You are the reason we keep making episodes. And remember, wherever you do listen, it would mean a shit ton to us if you gave our little shit podcast a rating or a review. Or more importantly than anything else, just tell a friend to check us out. Here with Vegan Pete, I am Right, and I'm Avi Ale, and we will talk to you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.